There are paths in life that few ever walk, roads hidden from the common eye, traveled only by those chosen to carry a deeper responsibility. You are here because you feel that call. And today I will reveal to you secrets that are rarely spoken, secrets that protect the strength of a chosen one from forces that quietly seek to weaken it. To be chosen is not about standing above others. It is not a crown of superiority. It is a weight carried with discipline, humility, and silence. Many think being chosen means glory, but the truth is different. The truth is vigilance. It is guarding yourself from energies that drain, distractions that deceive, and illusions that trap the spirit. Across the Shaolin tradition, monks were trained not only to fight with the body, but to defend the spirit. Breath, silence, stillness, and self-mastery became their armor. A careless word, an untamed emotion, or a neglected practice could open the door to danger. The chosen one learns to close those doors, to walk quietly yet unshakable, to remain unseen yet deeply aware. In this teaching, I will share with you 10 secrets that every chosen one must keep close. These are not the common lessons repeated everywhere. They are the inner laws of protection, rooted in ancient Shaolin wisdom, tested through centuries and refined through struggle. Some of these principles may challenge the way you see yourself. Some may remind you of truths you have long forgotten, and some may awaken a strength within you that no force can touch. Stay with me until the end, and you will understand not just how to walk the path of a chosen one, but how to protect it. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you walk this path with me, subscribe and keep this flame alive. The loudest battles are often fought within, and the quietest victories are won in stillness. In the heart of the Shaolin temple, monks would step away from the noise of the world, retreating into silence that spoke louder than any chant or movement. Silence was never emptiness to them. It was a weapon, sharp and precise, capable of cutting through confusion and guarding the spirit. Each thought carries energy. Each word carries intention. The untrained mind scatters both recklessly, like wind scattering seeds across barren land. But the chosen one learns restraint. Not every vision must be shared. Not every insight spoken aloud. Some truths are meant to grow in the shadows, protected from eyes that would twist them or hands that would misuse them. The strength of silence lies in its invisibility. It shields the soul from the weight of judgment, from envy, and from forces that feed on distraction. There were monks who could sit for hours, unmoved by the world outside, cultivating a quiet so deep that even the rushing of the river seemed to pause in respect. In that silence, their inner energy, their chi, gathered and solidified, forming a shield no enemy could pierce. They understood that what is spoken without care can scatter power, while what is held within, nurtured in stillness, grows untouchable. The chosen one carries this lesson into life beyond the temple walls. Every secret thought, every tender insight, every spark of awakening becomes sacred when guarded. Silence transforms from absence into presence, a presence that commands attention not through noise but through depth. Those who understand its weight learn to move through the world unseen yet unshakable, untouched by forces that seek to pull them off their path. To guard the silence within is to honor the chosen path, to respect the power that lies quietly waiting to be awakened. The breath is the first teacher, the silent rhythm that guides every moment of existence. In the quiet halls of ancient temples, monks learned that the body is only as strong as the flow of life within it. Chi, the vital energy, moves with the breath, weaving through every muscle, every thought, every pulse of the heart. To neglect it is to invite imbalance. To ignore it is to risk the quiet unraveling of the spirit. There are moments when fear rises like a storm, when the mind races and the body trembles. In such times, the breath becomes both shield and anchor. A shallow, hurried breath scatters energy, leaving the chosen one exposed to chaos and doubt. But a steady, mindful inhale gathers strength, pulling power inward, drawing focus and clarity with each slow exhale. In this simple act, mastery begins, not over the world, but over oneself. Ancient masters taught that breath is the bridge between the seen and unseen, the physical and the spiritual. By observing it, by guiding it, the body becomes a vessel of resilience and the mind a sanctuary of calm. Even a single deep, conscious breath can dissolve tension, release fear, and restore balance that words alone cannot reach. Disciplined breathing was never mere routine. It was armor, training, and meditation all at once. Morning and night, in motion or stillness, the monks returned to the rhythm of life within them, cultivating endurance and focus that no external trial could diminish. To protect the breath is to protect the self. It is to honor the invisible currents that sustain strength, courage, and clarity. Every inhalation gathers presence, every exhalation releases distraction. The chosen one learns that mastery is not always an outward conquest. It begins in the quiet, disciplined flow of life that courses silently through the chest, sustaining body, mind, and spirit alike. Every word spoken leaves a trace, an imprint that lingers in the air and in the hearts of those who hear it. In the quiet chambers of the Shaolin temple, monks were taught that speech is not mere sound, it is energy in motion, capable of building or breaking, of guiding or wounding. Each syllable carries weight, and those who speak without care scatter their own strength into the world, leaving the spirit vulnerable and the mind unsettled. The chosen one learns that silence is often wiser than speech. Words spoken in haste can ignite conflict, spread misunderstanding, or dilute the clarity of purpose. By contrast, words spoken with intention, rooted in truth and compassion, carry power that uplifts, heals, and aligns both the speaker and the listener with higher energies. Every conversation becomes a practice, every utterance a reflection of inner mastery. Ancient masters emphasized that restraint in speech is not weakness, but discipline. It requires awareness of timing, of audience, and of the unseen currents flowing through each moment. When monks would meditate before dawn, they trained their minds to observe before reacting, to feel the weight of their words before releasing them. Through this, energy was preserved, focus sharpened, and subtle strength cultivated, a strength that could not be measured in physical force alone. Guarding the tongue is a shield against scattering one's own essence. It prevents distraction, protects from emotional drain, and maintains clarity of purpose. Words left unspoken can carry a presence stronger than any proclamation, and silence held with mindfulness becomes a form of quiet command, radiating authority and calm. To master speech is to master oneself. It is to channel thought into power, intention into precision, and energy into purpose. In every interaction, the chosen one learns to move with care, to speak with meaning, and to preserve the invisible currents that sustain both spirit and destiny. Emotions are rivers that flow through the soul, carrying both life and turbulence. In the quiet teachings of ancient masters, it was understood that anger, fear, and jealousy are not simply feelings. They are forces that, when left unchecked, can erode clarity, scatter energy, and weaken the chosen one. The spirit is strong, but even the strongest current can be diverted by an uncontrolled surge of emotion. Within the walls of the temple, monks observed their own minds as though watching clouds pass across the sky. Each emotion arose, moved, and dissolved without judgment. Through meditation, breath, and mindful reflection, they learned to see anger as heat that could be tempered, fear as shadow that could be illuminated, and jealousy as a mirror reflecting unmet desires. Awareness became the lens through which raw feeling was transformed into insight. The chosen one practices the art of pause. Before reacting, before allowing a surge of emotion to dictate action, a stillness arises, a space between impulse and response. In that space, strength gathers. Energy that would have been scattered is preserved. Thoughts sharpen. The heart aligns with purpose rather than reaction. Through disciplined observation, every feeling becomes a teacher rather than a threat. Emotional mastery is a form of self-protection. It is armor invisible to the eye, but impervious to forces that seek to disturb, drain, or distract. Those who cultivate this skill walk with serenity, even amidst chaos, because their inner world remains sovereign. The storms of life may rage outside, but within, clarity flows like a calm river, steady and unbroken. To master emotions is not to suppress them, it is to understand, to guide, and to transmute their energy. The chosen one transforms inner turbulence into a reservoir of strength, turning what could harm into the very power that sustains focus, discipline, and the path of the spirit. Some wisdom is not meant for the many, but for the few who are ready to bear it. In the ancient halls where monks studied the art of mind and spirit, knowledge was treated as a flame, powerful, illuminating yet dangerous if mishandled. To reveal it carelessly is to let the wind scatter sparks, leaving both the fire and the seeker vulnerable. The chosen one learns that restraint in sharing insight is not arrogance, but protection, protection of the truth and protection of the self. Within the quiet rituals of the Shaolin temple, teachings were layered like petals, revealed only when the student's readiness aligned with the lesson. Some secrets required years of discipline, practice, and inner clarity before they could be understood and applied safely. A word spoken too soon could mislead, distort, or even corrupt the essence of the wisdom it carried. The masters understood that knowledge without preparation becomes a weapon, and the unprepared mind is an easy target for confusion and misuse. The chosen one carries this lesson into life beyond the temple walls. Not every insight should be spoken, not every vision shared. Sacred knowledge must be preserved, hidden in plain sight, allowed to mature quietly within the practitioner's own understanding. By guarding it, the chosen one maintains power, clarity, and alignment with the deeper currents of life. This discipline is not isolation, it is refinement. It transforms learning into mastery, curiosity into insight, and awareness into a shield. Those who cultivate this ability move through the world with quiet authority, their understanding intact, their energy undiminished. To preserve sacred knowledge is to honor the flow of truth itself. It is to recognize that some lessons must gestate in silence, and some revelations are treasures that only reveal their power to those who have earned the right to hold them. In this way, wisdom remains whole, uncorrupted, and alive, guiding the chosen one with enduring strength. The body is the vessel in which the spirit resides, and to neglect it is to leave the soul exposed. In the temples of the Shaolin, monks understood that strength of mind alone is incomplete without the foundation of a disciplined body. Every movement, every posture, every breath in training is a conversation between flesh and spirit, a way of shaping resilience that reaches beyond the physical. Monks would rise before dawn, greeting the day with exercises that hone not only muscles but focus and intention. Every strike, stance, and stretch was practiced with mindful attention, each repetition reinforcing endurance, balance, and internal energy. The body became a living temple, and care for it was a form of reverence. Strength cultivated in discipline became armor, not merely against physical threats, but against the chaos and turbulence that assail the mind. Nutrition and rest were treated with equal reverence. The body thrives not on indulgence, but on harmony. Meals were simple, chosen to sustain energy without overwhelming it, while periods of rest were honored as sacred pauses in the cycle of cultivation. Through these rituals, the monks learned that protection of the spirit begins with care for the vessel that carries it. The chosen one carries this principle into every day. Physical discipline anchors the mind, reinforces focus, and safeguards clarity. A resilient body is a shield for the spirit, a form of quiet power that cannot be taken by force. Neglect weakens both, leaving the self vulnerable to attack, seen and unseen. Strengthening the body is not vanity. It is preparation, an intimate dialogue with one's own limitations and potential. Through movement, care, and consistency, the body becomes a sanctuary. Within it, the spirit finds refuge, clarity, and the freedom to move unshaken, no matter the storms of life that rage beyond its walls. The spaces we inhabit shape the currents of our mind more than most realize. In the quiet wisdom of the Shaolin, monks understood that the path of mastery is not only cultivated within, but also reflected in the world around them. Every environment carries energy, and those who are chosen learn to sense its weight, its tone, and its subtle influence on the spirit. Negative energy, whispered gossip, and chaotic surroundings act like storms, scattering focus and clouding judgment. Even the most disciplined mind can be disturbed by the pull of discord or the pressure of tension. The chosen one recognizes these forces early, understanding that protection is not always a matter of action but of careful presence. By observing the quality of a place or the nature of those around them, they preserve clarity before it is challenged. Ancient masters practiced deliberate selection of companions and settings. In the temple, only those prepared to walk the path together shared the same space. Solitude was not loneliness, but a shield, a chance to align body, mind, and spirit in undisturbed rhythm. Where company was chosen, it was uplifting and disciplined, enhancing energy rather than depleting it. Conversations were measured, laughter tempered with reflection, and every interaction treated as a subtle exchange of forces. The chosen one carries this principle into life beyond the walls of the temple. Surroundings are chosen as carefully as tools or weapons. Quiet moments are sought, and gatherings are measured not by quantity but by quality. Even a single mindful environment can restore energy, focus, and presence. Control of surroundings is an art of inner mastery. It is the understanding that the world outside is a reflection of the world within. By cultivating spaces and relationships that nourish rather than drain, the chosen one moves through life protected, not by walls or fences, but by the quiet, deliberate cultivation of harmony and balance in every sphere they enter. In the heart of chaos, stillness is the quiet force that cannot be touched. The ancient masters of Shaolin understood that stillness is not mere absence of action, but the foundation of clarity. It is in these silent moments that the mind aligns with truth, separating the fleeting shadows of illusion from the steady light of wisdom. The chosen one learns to dwell here, in the pause between thought and action, where discernment arises naturally. Monks would sit for hours, observing the rise and fall of the breath, the subtle currents of the mind, and the movement of energy within and around them. In this deliberate stillness, the noise of the world fell away, leaving only the essence of what truly mattered. Illusions, those tricks of desire, fear, and distraction, became visible, no longer capable of steering the spirit of course. Each pause, each moment of conscious quiet was a lesson in mastery, a shield forged in silence. To act without this pause is to walk blind into the storm. Impulse scatters energy, while haste invites mistakes that ripple far beyond the immediate moment. The chosen one trains to resist this pull, cultivating patience and observation as a form of protection. Every decision, every movement emerges from this reservoir of calm awareness, carrying weight and intention that cannot be shaken by external forces. Stillness is also a mirror, reflecting the inner state of the practitioner. It reveals strengths and weaknesses alike, offering an opportunity for refinement before energy is expended. The discipline to remain unmoved, to sit quietly in the presence of uncertainty, cultivates resilience and insight that action alone cannot teach. Harnessing the power of stillness transforms the chosen one into a presence both serene and formidable. In this silence, clarity becomes armor, reflection becomes strategy, and every step taken thereafter is guided by truth, not by the illusions that swirl endlessly around the untrained mind. There is a sacred rhythm in daily practice, a pulse that connects the body, mind, and spirit. The masters of Shaolin understood that rituals, whether meditation, prayer, or martial discipline, are not mere routines, but the very foundation of inner strength. Each act, repeated with intention and reverence, forms an anchor that steadies the chosen one in moments of turbulence. The power of these practices lies not in display, but in their quiet consistency, hidden from the eyes of those who do not understand. In the dim light of the temple, monks would rise before dawn, performing the same sequences of movement and breath, each repetition a meditation, each motion a reinforcement of focus. These rituals were kept private, shielded from distraction and external influence. The energy cultivated in solitude could not be diluted. It grew silently, invisibly, yet with a force that could not be broken. Discipline in these practices became a form of armor, a way to preserve clarity and maintain resilience when the world pressed in with chaos and uncertainty. The chosen one learns that spiritual practices are sacred not because of their form, but because of their effect. A consistent meditation strengthens perception. A focused practice of martial discipline sharpens awareness. Prayer nurtures alignment with a higher principle, weaving purpose through every thought and action. The cumulative effect is subtle yet profound. A spirit unshaken by fear, a mind unclouded by distraction, and a presence that carries quiet authority. Sacred practices transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. They teach patience, cultivate endurance, and reinforce the understanding that mastery is not achieved through occasional effort, but through daily devotion. By keeping these rituals private and consistent, the chosen one safeguards the flow of energy, strengthens the spirit, and walks through life anchored in a power that no force outside can disturb. The greatest strength is often hidden, moving silently beneath the surface like a river carving valleys over centuries. In the teachings of the Shaolin, humility is not weakness. It is the vessel through which true power flows. Those who are chosen learn that seeking recognition scatters energy, invites envy, and disturbs the subtle currents of mastery. To remain unseen is to remain unshakable, allowing purpose and skill to grow quietly, protected from the turbulence of the outside world. Monks train to cultivate this principle in every action. In the temple, accomplishments were measured not by applause or attention, but by precision, consistency, and inner alignment. A well-executed stance, a disciplined breath, or a clear mind carried weight not because it was announced, but because it existed in harmony with the deeper currents of life. Invisibility became a shield. Humility, the anchor that kept ego from clouding judgment. To flow like water is the essence of this practice. Water is quiet, yielding, and adaptable, yet it shapes mountains, nourishes life, and moves with unstoppable force. So too does the chosen one, moving through the world with subtle influence, unseen yet profoundly present. By avoiding the spotlight, the mind remains free from distraction, the spirit protected from arrogance, and the heart attuned to wisdom rather than praise. True mastery is never a display for others. It is an internal alignment that radiates naturally without effort. Humility sharpens perception, steadies emotion, and cultivates patience. Invisibility does not imply absence. It is a deliberate choice to conserve energy, to move with intention, and to act from principle rather than ego. The chosen one becomes like the silent river, flowing with purpose, shaping destiny quietly, yet with power that cannot be denied. In this quiet strength, humility and invisibility are not constraints, they are the very keys that unlock enduring mastery and unshakable presence. To walk the path of a chosen one is to embrace responsibility over recognition, to understand that true protection does not come from barriers or defenses, but from the quiet discipline cultivated within. Every moment of mindfulness, every breath taken with intention, every emotion observed, and every sacred practice maintained becomes a shield that strengthens the spirit. The lessons shared today are not merely teachings, they are tools for daily life. By guarding your silence, mastering your breath, transforming your emotions, and honoring your rituals, you create a foundation of inner power that cannot be shaken by the chaos of the outside world. Strength arises not from force or display, but from consistent mastery of self, cultivated patiently and intentionally. As you move forward, carry these principles into each day. Let stillness guide your decisions, humility shape your actions, and discipline anchor your presence. In doing so, the path of the chosen one becomes not a distant ideal, but a living reality, woven into every step and every choice. Thank you for walking this journey with us. May your spirit remain unshakable, your mind clear, and your heart aligned with truth. If you wish to continue nurturing this inner strength and exploring the wisdom of the ancients, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire and join us in cultivating the path of mastery, peace, and unwavering presence.